Hello, everyone. I am Alexa, Operations Manager here at the BPM RIA office. Thank you guys for coming to this webinar today. Everybody who keeps coming back, thank you so much. We appreciate your participation. And anyone here who is new, welcome, very special welcome. Happy to have you and happy that you're in this webinar because this is going to be a really good one. Have some mentors here that are going to talk about some deals that our students have done recently. So, couple quick announcements. We have a raffle today. You're going to text the word quick start, one word. Make sure you spell it correctly or you will not get entered in. It's technology, guys, don't ask me. So text the word quick start, one word, to 954-800-6961. Take a picture. I'll put it in the chat as well in just a moment. If you're available this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, then you are going to be able to possibly win the ticket to the Quick Start. So the Quick Start is awesome. I have a bunch of people in here who are going. I have some people in here who have already been, thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot. So if you're available this weekend, go ahead and text that in. If you're not available this weekend and you win, we're gonna have to talk about that. So you're gonna have to get with me. So yes, one ticket to the Quick Start, and I hope you guys win. Couple events that are coming up. We always have lots of events, but we have our Quick Start training this weekend, as I just mentioned, 2-day training, money back guarantee. I know it sounds crazy, but everybody walks away absolutely loving this training. It is 2 full days with a niche, 9 a.m. to 5. And you get a couple breaks, of course, but you are doing this training in the comfort of your home. It is live, cameras on, mics on, we're getting into it, meeting people, doing all of that. So if you are interested in the Quick Start, I have a poll here. Thank you guys so much for responding to this poll. I appreciate it. I see a lot of you saying yes, so I will be in touch with you. If you respond yes to this poll, I will go ahead and give you a call, give you some more information about the Quick Start. All the things we'll be learning, we'll touch on it, I'm sure, in this webinar, but this is a really great experience if you haven't gone. So thank you guys. Oh my gosh, so many poll responses. Thank you. So next week, we have one of our speakers from the Quick Start, Jose Ramirez. He's coming in and going to be speaking on some tax strategies for real estate investors, landlords, wholesalers, rehabbers, Airbnbers. You will not want to miss it. So that's next week on Tuesday. And then our monthly meeting, guys, this is going to be a little bit different. So anyone who's in these webinars weekly, you will notice that we don't have the cameras on. So this is going to be different. This is going to be cameras on. It's going to be really interactive. We're trying something new, and I've been having great feedback with everybody saying, oh my gosh, you guys are having Marco, awesome. So let's do it. Let's show him what we're about down here in South Florida during this monthly meeting, and really soon, like a week and a half. So we are going to have a great time, and I hope to see everybody there. And then, of course, we have Florida Entrepreneur Law coming back. Their other attorney, Michelle, is coming in. We haven't heard her speak or tell us, about her specialty. She's going to come in and talk about securities and real estate investments and why you should care. She's really cool, and I really am excited for everybody to meet her. So I really hope that you're all available for these webinars. They're going to be really, really good. And you can always find our events on our website, bpmria.com. On the upcoming events tab, you can go ahead and register for all of those as soon as they come out, and check it weekly because we're always adding more events. So yes, my favorite way to keep up with events, as you all know, is the text alerts. So if you were to text BPM REIA to our event line, 954-800-6961, you will get a text update the day of the event to register and to remind you that we have a webinar that day. If you call this line, then no one's going to answer. This is an event line. So make sure you text BPM RIA, or if it's a raffle, you're going to text the text word to this number. And then our office number, you can always find it on the website, on Google, and I'm sure I could put it in the chat for you guys. So this is not a number that you call. This is a text line for our events, just to clarify that. All righty. And as you all know, because we've been talking about it for a couple months now, the Quick Start Bootcamp is this weekend. So I sent out the last call yesterday. It's speak now or forever hold your peace. So register now if you're interested. This is the non-member pricing. We have member pricing as well. You're going to learn a lot, as you can see. And if you just spend even one day with Anish, you learn a lot. This is 2 days with him. So you're going to learn a lot this weekend. You get a PDF booklet to keep. You get a lot of good stuff. So
I think we only have.
Hope to see you there. I'll be there.
Alexa.
And as you know, the members do get a bunch of perks and discounts, especially all the great things that we get through the National RIA benefit package, discounts to Home Depot, Office Depot, Office Max, Arcana Insurance, the list goes on. There are so many great things that we get from the National RIA. We get a voter's voice. We are so connected, and you get to meet just a lot of cool people from being connected with them. So if you're a member to BPM RIA, you're also a member to the National RIA. So always look at it like you are part of something way bigger than just us. Not like just us, but you know. And as well as our corporate members, they get a lot of great perks, and it's a really great opportunity if you're a business owner. So if you're interested in any of these, or if you have any more questions, go ahead and respond to the poll, send me an email. We could definitely talk about it. I definitely want you guys to make the most out of your membership, getting into those in-person networking meetings for free, getting the discounts, the special seminars, and such that we hold. So if you're not sure, no worries. Let's talk about it and see what's a good fit for you. And thank you guys for responding to the poll. I appreciate that. All right, so our mentoring program, which we'll be talking a lot about today, it is a truly one-on-one training program. I just love our little line here. Great investors are trained, not born. We recently got some hats that say that, so just be ready for those, guys. So the best way to go about this, if you're just not sure, what is this? What are they talking about? Go ahead and book a discovery call on the website, and we can actually talk about it a little bit more into detail and get you a 1-hour consultation with a mentor, with our lead mentor, Anish. So if you want to hear just from him, straight from him, I'm absolutely happy to help set that up. You are chosen a path, you get matched with the right mentor, and we know not one size fits all. This is one-on-one. So we meet you where you're at, and we see what your goals are, and we talk about it. So this is an amazing opportunity. If you'd like more information, thank you guys for responding to the polls. I appreciate it. I will call you all back who responded to the poll, but you could absolutely go to the website right now or after this webinar and schedule a call with me at a time that works for both of us. So just go ahead and do that, and I'll call you all back that responded to this poll. Thank you guys so much. And we absolutely always want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, thank National RIA, thank all of our corporate members and all of our members, everybody who participates in these webinars. We would not have these great events if it wasn't for you. So thank you guys all so much for being here. And yeah, I'm gonna let Anish take over. Let's go.
Yep. So Alexa, and a couple of things that I just want to make sure.
I don't hear you. Does anybody hear him?
No?
I hope it's not
Can
my.
you hear me? Is it, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure, Alexa, you might have accidentally, I don't know what you might have done, but you might have muted me somehow. I don't know.
No, we've been having mute and sound. It's been a thing this morning, but we're all good.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were just mad at me. So, I know sometimes magically, people wish they could mute me all the time, and I'm gonna just have to fight through this, of course. That's what happens.
Never. I always learn. And anything we talk about, Anish, I'm always learning with you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
sure.
contagious.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Shannon. Alexa broke Zoom, so
there can only be one Alexa. Now they multiplied me times a million. So
All the Zoom stock prices went down. That's why. So I blame you guys. Yeah, but Alexa. So welcome, guys. We're excited to have you here today for BPM RIA. Just in case, how many newbies are actually, or should I say, how many people this is the first time you've actually been on our webinar? So I'm kind of curious if this is your first event or not. Go ahead and put in the chat on that. And is everyone in South Florida? We're still trying to figure that out too. I know Denise and Lucian are trying to figure out their camera. And I see the lights go up and down on all the different things. So they will be with us in a second while they are remote also. I see some of you guys are new. Okay, great. So quick background. I am the president of BPM RIA. We were formerly known as BRIA. I've been in real estate investing for 20 plus years, licensed real estate agent, licensed mortgage guy, grew up in Jersey, read all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, did a national program, spent $1 gazillion, got no deals. And lo and behold, I'm back in here now too. So, that's my quick background. I also have Denise and Lucian, who are former students, but more importantly, they have been mentors for a while. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves too? A little background about you guys?
Sure. Denise Reyes.
Lucian Reyes.
Previously in corporate America in IT finance for over 25 years. I'm also a realtor. We found this fabulous program several years ago, and it's been forward ever since. We did some deals, short sales, flipped a few properties with the organization. We flipped a few properties on our own, and now we're mentors and super excited in helping the students that we work with to make deals.
Forgive us, we are on the cell phone this morning. We are presently in North Carolina, a little of R&R and business. So if our connection is a bit flaky, again, forgive us. But as Denise says, we are very excited about the program. Presently, we've had, I think, 6 or 7 students mentoring, and basically among them, 4 deals, 1 student twice.
Actually, 5. We just closed the 5th deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 5 deals. So we must be doing something correct, which we are going to do you all this morning.
Yeah, and actually, so today, the reason we're actually kind of through this little workshop at the end, I constantly get calls and emails. What's going on with the market? There's too much competition. Are you actually doing deals? And for us, I get sick of, the YouTube university stuff of, I'm closing deals, but no one ever shows you any deals, right? Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Well, heck, I'd like to see that.
Right.
The people that know me, I'm very transparent. It's the Jersey in me, New Jersey that is, that's going to tell you how it is, not the rah-rah guy. I kind of joke about it because I always, if anyone's from up north, got to put in the chat, our attitude as Northerners, even though I've been down here in South Florida for 20 years, I think everything's a scam. So show me, the deals, show me what you're really doing. So that was part of it. And also to get a good idea, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to put a quick poll on there. And hey, Jackie, New York in the house. How many deals have you done since the pandemic, right? So it gives us a good idea of what you guys been up to, right? Is there too much, is it a bunch of deals? Am I new? Have I been crushing it like ourselves? These are important things for us. And if you're new, you're definitely in the right spot. So don't worry. We've all been new at one point. And do you guys know how much, Denise and Lucian, what was your deal profit on your first deal? Mine was only $2,000. My first wholesale deal.
We were better than you, Adish. I think we were 3,000. It was a small amount.
It was a quick flip, if you will, and it was it was actually 15. It was 15,000.
we paid off.
It was 15.
Okay.
Anyways, it was 15.
She's the finance.
I'm the numbers girl.
Yeah, I think I know what happens. I'm married to Lucian. You only got to see 3,000. I
Yes.
got you, man. I should have said what the deal profit was. My bad. So I got you on that. So, but to give you a good idea, I was ecstatic. You know, I put $500 down. I had no intention of closing it. My $500 to earn into $2,000. I was pumped. I was like, wow, this thing actually works. So I do see more than half of you guys are actually new. Okay, fair enough. And the other half of you guys have been doing deals. All right, pretty cool. That's good to know. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you real deals. We're going to highlight some student deals. Share my screen, and hopefully you can see my screen here. 829 South.
It's still loading. Oh, there it
Okay,
goes.
can
There it
everybody
is.
see my screen?
Yep, there it is.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask Denise and Lucian, right? So this is a student deal. And while I'm going to kind of flick through the photos, do you guys want to talk about what kind of deal it is? And yeah, well, you know, if you guys got questions, put them in the Q&A as we're going, and we'll try to hit as many questions as possible while we're talking about it. So the house is in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And this was a student deal, a equity pre-foreclosure student deal.
Mm-hmm.
And she worked very hard on this deal. One of the most important things I would like to stress from the very start is you have to be honest, you have to have integrity, and you have to gain the trust of the homeowner that you're going to do things correctly. And our student by the name of Umar, she did all of this.
So,
And
go ahead.
so, you know, remember we have some newbies on there. So what the heck does pre-foreclosure with equity mean? I don't even know what that means.
So pre-foreclosure with equity means that the homeowner missed a few payments, and sometimes the payments could be 3 or 4, and sometimes it could be a year's worth of payments. And the lender has called the loan and said, hey, you missed a few payments. We want the full balance of the loan. And this particular property had equity in it. And what does that mean? Well, it means that if we paid off the lender, there was going to be money left over, pretty much. So that's what pre-foreclosure with equity in a nutshell means. In addition, this property had a foreclosure sale date of March 25th.
May 25th.
So May 25th. So we were working against the clock to try to get this deal accomplished as quickly as possible. The homeowner was ready to move forward, but the lender was dragging their feet. So they actually we needed a payoff in order to pay off the lender. And they transferred the file over to the attorney, and the attorney was taking his time trying to get us the numbers back. So it literally took us about 3 weeks to get a final payoff from the lender. And when we got the payoff, it was only for like about a week. So we had to have everything in place and be ready to move very quickly to get the deal done and finalized.
So I'm going to backtrack some of the questions here for you. First of all, how did the student find the deal? Like, meaning, were they driving for dollars? Were they using, I mean, I know the answer, but software, what was, you know?
So basically they were using a tool that all of our students use, ReaFax. And ReaFax has a large number of leads in their toolbox, in the software toolbox. And this happened to be a foreclosure lead. And the homeowner, what she did was she sent out direct mail And then they door knocked on the property and met the homeowner. And she was having, she was pretty much in distress because she has a foreclosure sale date. She doesn't know what to do. So the student just basically, calmed her down, gave her some education, kind of walked through what she could do for her to mitigate the whole issue. And she trusted her enough to say, okay, let's do it. Let's move forward.
Yeah, that's number one, right? So, I mean, obviously you're working with the students. What I know most people are afraid of knocking on doors. Go ahead and put in the chat if you've ever knocked on a door as an investor, or if you've not, or if you're afraid. You could be honest, right? So some of you guys that have been through our boot camps or the meetings are probably tired of hearing the story, but the first door I knocked on, I did things as an adult that I've never done, meaning I didn't introduce myself. I splurged a bunch of garbage, blah, 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 like whatever, like speed, like an auctioneer. I said things so fast. They looked at me. They stared at me. I turned around and walked back to my car, and I was in a full sweat. And I was like, this is not for me. And that's what freaked me out. So I see, yep, Amy, you're right. You said it's nerve-wracking, right? So that is normal on that end of it. I don't know. Some people say they love it. Some people, are fully scared like I was. And it's almost comical. What about you guys? Were you guys scared the first time?
So the very first time that we door knocked, it was, well, we were prepared, right? Because you guys told us what to do. We walked up to the home, we knocked on the door, and the gentleman came out and he looked at us and said, I don't care what you're selling. I don't care what you have. We don't want none of it. Get off my property. And we were like, oh my goodness. So we ran back to the car, like walking super fast with our tails between our legs. And we were like, oh my goodness. And then we gave you guys a call and said, this is what happened. And of course, get back out there. It's okay.
No, we said quit. No, we said quit. We said quit.
You were like,
quit. Don't do this anymore. There's too many investors out there. Get away from that house.
He said, it's okay. Just keep following up. Get back out there. And so we just got in the car and went to the second house. And it was very different, a very different conversation.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
I mean, the point is, and we love technology, we're not against it, is first of all, we're looking for off-market properties. Right. So I know if you're a real estate agent, I'm a licensed agent, Denise is an agent, the deals are tough on the MLS. So we're going direct to the homeowner. And the way to go direct is, we mail letters, but the real response rate is less than 2%. We want to knock on doors or call. And of course, so far we know it's a pre-foreclosure on there, right? So they have a problem, they have a sale date, and there's some equity.
Right.
So what happened afterwards? Like, and if you guys saw the pictures of the house, right? So my realtor friends, right? It's move-in ready in a booming neighborhood. I mean, you guys see that? You see that kitchen? Let me see if I can even find that. The kitchen photos. So you guys hopped on late. Like I'm just kind of flicking through the photos, right? It's move-in ready. There you go. My wife would love that kitchen as is, right? So that's the challenge, right? Number one. So what was the next steps? I imagine that the homeowner was getting letters, or why did they pick our student, or do you know why?
I think that they picked our student because, first of all, they were afraid, didn't know what to do. Second of all, they felt very comfortable with the student. And the third of all, I believe that it's through the education. She explained what she can do for her, and it made sense to the homeowner. And the homeowner was like, let's do it. Let's move forward, and it's all about building that trust with the individual and building a relationship with them. And when they're in a jam, they're going to come to you.
And one of the most important things is that, we share with our students is that a lot of investors out there and the homeowners tell us this: everyone wants to buy their home. We come with a solution. We would like to help you save your home. What is it that you want to accomplish? Ask the question. You don't come in like the bull in a china shop, I'm going to buy your home. And that's what many investors do. And being there in person, instead of being a letter sent, makes a huge difference, because you are you establishing a relationship, you're contacting. Hey, this is a real person, instead of 50 letters they are receiving a month.
In this particular case, the homeowner was just ready to get out, ready to move forward with her life. And, our student was the one to help them accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes, there's some key points, right? You heard Lucian talk about, hey, we're here to fix your problem, right? Sometimes it's timing, it's both. And by the way, I just want to welcome Mr. Harry Diamond to the webinar. Also, he's one of our other lead mentors too. So I know he'll always chime in, and he's always got something to say. I think he popped in when Lucian said bull. So there's a bull that's going to break down the China shop. So and that's when Harry always walks in. So that's how it works out. But no comment on that portion. But thank you, Harry, for coming on here. So so a couple of things, right? This is how many guys are buying houses in Hollywood? So this is a 3-2, right? It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yes.
Yeah, and the roof is in decent condition. So in the chat, go ahead and put how much you would offer on this house. I'm just kind of curious to see what you guys would offer. And there's no back and forth, and there's other investors. And you kind of saw the photos in there. What would you guys offer on this house? So I'm let's see what these guys come up with on this. I won't read them out loud yet. So, and you guys remember, it's a house with equity in there, and there's other investors going to the house. So if you try to play the Price is Right game, the $1, it's not going to work. You're going to lose. So, it just depends on what you guys are putting in there. And okay, and only 2 of you guys. If you guys don't put a number in the chat, that means you guys are passing on the house. You're saying, yeah, it's what's going on there, because I only see 3 or 4 of you guys putting prices in there, and I'm kind of cracking up. Like the range is all over the place too. Okay, look, now there's yeah, Sean, don't be cheating. So square footage is probably around 1,400 square feet. So all right, so it's funny because and this is one of the things of what I love about our quick start on the weekend. It's the same house with the same photos. And so our low, I won't say the name, that they would offer 130,000. I got a 130, I got a 315, I got a 190, I got a 400,000, I got 190 to 200,000, 180. 200,000. And again, this is as is, right? I'm not talking about after repair value. You're going to offer them cash. So we got from 190 to $400,000. Same house. Are we all looking at it? Does everyone see the same photos I see? I'm just curious, right? So, and the people at the 400,000 people, we definitely need to talk, because you can buy all our houses. I love you. So what do you guys want to talk about? What we offered, or what we actually bought the house for?
So here's the thing. We don't have all the numbers in front of us because we're out of town right now, but I can give you a couple of things.
I know what they are. So
the key thing is the payoff. What is the payoff to the bank? So yes, if it was a short sale, you can probably go in with a low number, but this happened to be an equity sale. So it being an equity sale, we had to pay off the lender and then see how much money was left over. So I believe the payoff was somewhere around 240,000.
Yep, that is correct.
It sold for 270.
Yep.
So
And we,
our go ahead.
yeah, no, it's 240, right? We promised the homeowner $5,000.
Correct.
So she went from losing her house to nothing, having a foreclosure to a paid off, right? Paying off her mortgage, paid her closing costs. We're in it for about 250, 252, give or take. We were able to assign the contract to one of our buyers in the 270 range, assign them to contracts. That's a different class. They took over and paid the 5,000. We got a fee, and our fee was about $19,000
Right.
at closing. So fair enough. Like they are out of town, but I know the numbers because guess what? You know, I write these checks, so it gives you a good idea. And so the key of this deal, right? It's a win-win. It wasn't listed on the MLS. We're curious to see down the road what what our investor will do. Are they going to make a bunch of money or not? You know, you don't know what's happening with the market. And I think this investor is a buy and hold guy, from what I remember. So he's just doing rentals, and he might do a short-term rental on this. So we think the ARV. I know I'm getting. Remember, please put the questions in the Q&A. We're conservative on our after repair value. We were thinking around if I'm correct, like 330. It was what we thought we might be able to get.
Around 315.
315. And again, that's we're being conservative on our numbers. So again, we wholesale the house over on this, and we figured the estimated rehab was around $35,000.
Right.
And I love when Harry puts his eye drops in so that you can see the screen. So make sure you still see me. Cracks me up. So, okay, that's deal number one. So, let's kind of, again, pre-foreclosure with equity. It closed in 30 days. There were some little hiccups because of the payoffs that we had to get from the lender and the attorney that kind of held it up. So, but we were able to close this pretty quick. If it's a short sale, we got to negotiate with the bank. So that gives you a good idea on deal number one, right? So let's see if we have any questions on this. Did she have a place to move to? I think she did, right? Was she moving in with a family member? Do you remember? That's one of the questions.
She did find a place to move. Didn't release any of the details in regards to that. So.
Yep. And Hannah, we are the wholesaler on that. That is correct. So if we would have done a double closing, our profits would have been eaten up. So that's why there's closing costs on two sides. That's why we were able to sign the contract. Our buyer didn't care. They were happy with the terms, and we made it a win-win. The seller was fine with it because she still got her $5,000, and we're just talking about selling it to our partner too. So, okay. So now I'm going to kind of switch to Harry.
Anish, hold on a second.
Sure.
Things. We promised the homeowner that we are going to keep her out of foreclosure. And we did. Okay. It was an equity deal. We got the closing done before the sale date. The bank was paid off. The homeowner has no foreclosure on her record, so her credit is clean. Nothing is listed against her. Okay. Which is one of the things that we stress, most importantly.
Absolutely. Again, the idea is to constantly make it a win-win too. So Harry, I'm gonna now pick on you on one of your students' deals on that portion. And Denise, Lucia, you could always chime in, and we're all family here. So it doesn't, just because Alexa puts me on mute, I'm actually nicer than Alexa. I'm not gonna put you guys on mute. So don't worry, I got you. So let me go ahead and share another one. Let me go back to, okay, so 5040 West Broward Boulevard. So if you got some How many people does anyone know Plantation very well? So if you do, it's a definite nice area. And I know the internet, for whatever reason, is not liking me here. It's a little slow. So can you guys see this beautiful home?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, the curb appeal looks fantastic.
Hidden gem.
Hidden gem. So Harry, do you want to let's talk about what kind of deal, how they found it, all the above, and I'm just going to kind of flick through the photos while we're going.
All right, this is a wholesale deal, and the student actually was driving by and noticed 7 abandoned vehicles there, and this overgrowth. The vehicles have since been removed for these pictures, and brought that lien into compliance. So he did his research and found the homeowner, and actually the son of the homeowner, because the homeowner is a hoarder and does not answer his phone or door or anything.
Maybe he can't find. Hey Harry, maybe he couldn't find his phone.
And when you see some of the other pictures, you will know that that is entirely possible. It's under there somewhere. Now that's the front door. That's 3 foot to climb up into the house. We can only get about 12 feet in. That's the front entrance in towards the living room. It piled up to about 6 feet from the floor, about a foot from the ceiling. You don't like that one, Lucian, huh? All to make it better, it had mirrored walls, so it made it look like it was twice as much junk in there. That's actually the hallway to go to the bedrooms and bathrooms, which haven't been used in years. And that's over in another section of the living room. And the guy was sleeping in the middle of that somewhere. We could only get 12 feet in, couldn't see anything. There's the better view. He was living just over, there's the student right there on the left of the student's shoulders where he was living. Over to the right is the kitchen, which also you could not get to. And that's the only damage we could see because we couldn't get anywhere else in the house. But the student found the son, not heir, the guy the holder's still alive. And we worked with the son for about 6 months, helping him with his father, taking baby steps with this disease. And little by little, the son got his father to relinquish some of the cars for the violations, and allowed the father to take 1 pod. Can you imagine only filling 1 pod of your stuff out of all those treasures in there? And he's moving him up to northern Florida, and buying him a house with the money that we're giving him so he can move. Luckily, the bank payoff was practically nothing, and he was able, and the homeowner was actually able to get a 6-figure number profit, so he could buy another house up there. But that left us enough room where we could wholesale it and still make a considerable amount well on our side.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and hopefully you'll know them off the top of your head. How many bedrooms and bathrooms?
I'll lie if I don't know the answer. Well, the property appraiser says it's a 2-2. The homeowner and the son says it's a 3-2. The son was raised there, and he swears there's 3 bedrooms, yet to be determined, but that's what he swears. And most of the houses on those 1-acre lots are 3-2. So if the 3rd bedroom was added, it was added 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. And so I know, Charlene, you're asking if that's a trailer. No, that's an actual house. And it's not a trailer.
I don't know. There's so much stuff that could be wheels under there. What do I know?
I mean, so let's be, you know, how many people would actually walk into that house and say this is a deal? And be honest on, and I'm telling you to be honest because when I first started, there was no chance. And I've walked to, I don't know if it was that bad. I've walked houses like that. And I was like, there's no way. Like I didn't understand because I was only rehabbing houses. Oh my God, I don't know what to do about this. I don't, you know, yeah, you know, like this is too much and I can't even see it. So how many people are really, you know, gonna say, yeah, this is for me? So look at these guys. I feel like I don't want to call some of you guys liars, but they're all of a sudden everyone's a, you know, a master investor on that stuff. Everyone makes me feel like, you know, I feel like I'm the only one that's not that's gonna pass on it. All right.
About a year
Marty,
ago, I had another student that opened the door, was boarded up house, opened the door, got hit with the smell. This house doesn't smell, surprisingly, believe it or not. But with another house, another student got hit with the smell and he goes, hell no, I'm not going in there. I started to laugh so hard. I said, that's the smell of money, buddy. You're gonna want to get in there.
yeah.
And we go walk in, that one was worth 60, 80 grand. So this one is, these are little gems. Don't be afraid to go into these.
Okay, so like let's play the guessing game, right? So obviously, you know, one of the things, I mean, I'm just going to tell the answer. Obviously, this house cannot get normal financing, right? Hopefully, we could all agree on that. You can't go to Bank of America and say, I'm buying this house and I'm going to get conventional financing or I'm going to get an FHA financing. It ain't happening. Hard money, absolutely. One of the things that I did see in the chat a little bit, we were paying cash on these properties, right? So it's either my money or the money I raised. So we don't have to worry about lenders or condition is the first thing. So how many, like, what would you guys offer on this house? Right? To make, so this one I think has no mortgage, correct? It didn't have
60 grand.
60. Okay, so house has 60. So you have to offer more than 60,000. How about that? What would you guys offer knowing that there's other investors out there? I'm always kind of curious.
By the way, I see Theo didn't want to walk in there. If you find one of those, Theo, call me.
At least he's honest. I mean, I'm not calling everyone else, you know, liars, but you know, I'm telling you, I'm pretty fragile. So I mean, you know, you got to watch out for me. Yeah, and it's a single family. Catherine, okay. All right. And then the second part of that question is, what do you think we bought it for? So I see the ranges of what you guys will pay. What do you think we bought this house for? It's got to be more than 60. Obviously, we got to pay off the first mortgage. So I'm looking at the range.
Do we want to tell them what the ARV is?
We can. We're gonna tell them on the back end of it.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about what we bought it for, right? So, you know, in the beginning, people would offer. I was seeing all sorts. It's so funny, like that. The numbers are so crazy. The range, I should say, is like as low as 95,000. I think the high I saw was over 300,000 that they pay.
I like the way Shannon thinks. I want her on my side.
Okay, so all right, go ahead, give it to him, Harry. What did we get this under contract for?
Well, I was hoping to get it for about 200,000, so that way the guy would walk with 120, but they refused. So I went to find a buyer first. I won't leak that information. And once I found out what the buyer would offer, we went and offered the son exactly what he wanted, $300,000. And we took it with the lien, so this way the father could walk with 200 grand net, so he could buy a house clear up in northern Florida.
Okay, so wait, stop for a second. So all those people put those other numbers in, right? You're a bunch of lowballers.
Yep, well, you're right.
Yeah, so bunch of lowballers. I'm just gonna put this. You're the ones that give investors bad name. No, I'm kidding. Like that's number one, right? So again, we want to make it a win-win. He wasn't just giving away the house. We didn't say he was in, pre-foreclosure. We knew there was some equity in it. And if you guys don't know Plantation, it's fair enough, right? Plantation is a nice neighborhood, I don't know, I'd say like an upper middle class neighborhood, I guess is probably what I would say. So we offered 300,000, right? So sellers getting close to 200 and change, right? Is so far. Okay, now I already told you the first part of it. Here comes the second part. What did we sell this for?
By the way, the ones who had the lower numbers, that's what I would have offered in that range for if we were doing a short sale.
Yeah.
So those
No,
numbers
see,
are.
Yeah. See, Harry's just a nicer guy. You see that? And then I'm calling you bad investor. He's such a nice guy there. So we're in it for 300. We're not, and so we're talking about wholesaling. So wholesaling means Harry's not going to go in there and clean it out. I'm not going to clean it out. We're not fixing it up. We're doing nothing. We took these pictures and we sent it out to our cash buyers list. Right. And then again, when you wholesale, you got to leave some room for the other people to make money. So you can't sell retail, right? So go ahead, Harry. What did we actually sell this for?
We're in the around 400,000.
400,000.
400,000. They're taking it with the liens, all closing costs. So we're in at 3 and out at 4.
And go ahead and tell them what the after repair value is.
665 is the high, about 640, 635 to 665.
So you see the key in this, right? Is that we got to leave enough room for the other investor to make money. And this is an experienced investor that buys from us all the time. How do you guys feel about that?
I like
Would
it.
you be happy? I wish, on the student, the cool thing for the student, right? He put zero money into it. He probably had to take about 3 showers after walking the house. That's something different. I can't control that part of it, but he's got zero money in the deal. And Harry's out there coaching him. Right. So I think it's really, important, and the seller is pretty happy, right? The son. Like, you want to talk about that end of it too, right? Meaning, I want to kind of, like, I'm always tired of, like, it sounds funny because, like, it's great for us to make money. I always think it's important to always make it a win-win.
Exactly. The money is the bonus. It's for doing. When you don't focus on the money comes, and it comes in these kinds of numbers. Finding the creative solutions that help everybody, whether it's a short sale or wholesale deal, is critical. And that's what Lucian was mentioning earlier. And if we look back on every single deal that we've ever done, the entire company, it's always about solving the problem. So finding out what these people want and trying to get that for them as best as we can makes it so much easier. Now, he wanted 300,000. He actually wanted to sell for 700,000. I was like, good luck. But I heard what he wanted, and he was.
So wait, let's go back to that. Like, that's a good nugget, right? He started at $700,000.
Well, his wife's a realtor in northern Florida, and they don't deal in the area, and they think they could get 700,000 for it when there's no houses in the area. The house next door, twice the size, double lot, wasn't worth 700. But he came up with that number. But I listened to what he was saying, and when you listen to the people, they will tell you things that they don't know, that they're giving you critical information. He's like, well, it needs about 100,000 repairs, and the city will take like 30,000, and it's going to take about 5,000 to 6,000 to clean up the whole place. And he's just listing on and on. And the bank wants about 60,000. And I just need 200,000. I want about $200,000 for my father to be able to buy a house. I'm like, listening to all those numbers, none of them equal 700,000. And I was like, okay, so those are just nuggets. Obviously, that was over a conversation of a few minutes, but believe it or not, it was that quick. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So maybe if I just give him a little less, give him 200,000, let him walk with 120, see if that was enough.
So you guys are following, right? Son wants 700,000. His wife is a realtor in North Florida. So obviously she knows South Florida, and she probably never saw the house, right? So it's move-in ready, right? Which it is not. Harry listens to what they need. They actually talk about what they think are repairs, all the things that, that they're thinking. And you started with 200,000 offer, right? That is, so 700,000 is what they're looking for. 200, what he's offering. How many of you guys would walk if someone told you, oh, I want 700,000, and they'd walk away? Oh yeah, they just want too much. I'm just gonna go to the next house, right? So when I first started, that was me. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I need to be at 200. I don't even want to actually put an offer because I'm so embarrassed to put that, right? Like that's what I would have been. That's the truth. When you're in the beginning, that's what happens. But so Harry puts in a 200. Then what happens? You heard, they're walking away with 120.
Well, I listened to the story, and what they wanted really was about 300. They didn't mention that number, but with all the calculations and the information that he was willing to give me, we were showing him that the comps were around 400, 420, and there were some in that to show him that range. Some of the other acreage later, because this was over a 7-month period, some of those comps did come up into the 600s, which was very good for us. It actually made the deal, but we were calculating everything with an ARV of about 420. So we said it needs 100,000 in repairs, it needs this, it needs that. So about 300,000 is too high. So we started a little bit lower and just basically threw it out there and see if it's stuck. Say, hey, look, you want 200,000 there? I can get you like 130. How's that sound? And they held their guns, and they held strong. And because his father was a hoarder and they were still in the house and not moving around, we couldn't gain access to the house. There was a whole bunch of other things. This was even before we gained access to the house. And so we had some time. Our student was kind of concerned about losing the deal to somebody else, someone coming in and making a higher offer, which did cross my mind. But the guy was working with us, and he said to us, again, you're listening, says, you're the only ones that gave me time, gave my father time. You didn't pressure us. Everyone else was like, go get your father out, we'll give you this. We're saying, keep your father in as long as you want. We'll close when you're ready. And because of that, if any offer is higher than 300, they were coming with us anyway, because we were able to give them what they needed. They didn't only need money, they needed time. And because the hoarder has a disease that I was surprised he actually got rid of 7 cars, and complied, brought one of the liens into compliance, one of the violations into compliance. So he was slowly chipping away at his father, and if anyone knows hoarding disease, it's they hoard everything. They don't throw away anything, and it is extremely difficult when you confront them to try to get rid of even the smallest thing. It's a major battle. So giving the son time for the father to work with the father and get him to cross over in small pieces was a big part of the negotiations. And then the prices went up, and then we had a buyer in the 400 range, and I'm like, okay, I can offer this guy 300. Make him happy, get the hell out. Would I want $200,000? Of course, who wouldn't? But $100,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Take
So
money,
we actually
find another one. Theo, find me another one.
So just because on time, because we want to keep showing, we have 2 more properties to kind of show. So this is a double closing. So we're buying in the, we bought it and then we're reselling it. So anytime, generally speaking, we make more than $15,000 to $20,000, we want to do a double closing. You're not going to want to sign, have an assignment for $100,000. The seller's not going to be happy. Your buyer's probably not going to be happy. With a double closing, we've done webinars in the past about this. Your seller doesn't know and your buyer doesn't know unless they look on the public records later. It's already too late. And most people don't even look at public records afterwards. So that is property number 2, right? Now I'm going to go back to Denise and Lucian, right? So let's go to, this is up in Lake Worth.
Can't wait to hear this one, Lucian. Sapphire, cool.
So I'm going to just flip through the photos, and Denise and Lucian, you can talk about what kind of deal this is and, how they got the deal. You give us the good stuff.
Okay.
Well, before we go on, I'd like to go back to Harry for a second. And if you all listen to exactly what Harry said, working with the homeowner, they had other investors coming in and making offers. But Harry established a relationship of trust, a relationship of honesty, and he listened to what the homeowner wanted. And that's something that we emphasize and teach in our program. You cannot be a hustler. You have to work with the homeowner, and Harry did, and you saw the results.
Well, and one of the things you notice is that the homeowners are actually embarrassed that they have houses like this. So become a real estate therapist first. You'll make a lot of money in your real estate investing business when you're a real estate therapist. But they're really embarrassed, and taking that into consideration and making them feel comfortable. They want to work with people they feel comfortable with, and to a niche. Okay.
Well, I mean, so this house, they're again, like the house Harry had, the gentleman's living in the house.
Mm-hmm.
This house, they're living in it also. The first house that Denise and Lucian showed, they're living in the house.
Right.
So, for me, that, like, when I first started investing, that was it's like, wow, I can't believe people are living like this. Like, I had no idea. I was definitely, I didn't have much, but, I wasn't living like this. Yeah. And so I was disconnected, being honest about the way when I first got into real estate investing.
So basically what happened with this house is that this house was acquired through probate. So the brother passed away, and there were 4 heirs involved in this particular deal. And 3 of them were out of state and 1 was in state. So they had to basically go through the probate first.
Were the 4 heirs, right? So obviously I imagine they're all siblings. They all got along, or at least on this, I should say. Let me rephrase that. I got one sibling, we don't get along.
They had an older brother who was in charge. He was, I guess, the personal representative for the property. And so he had 2 of the siblings under control. But the last one was kind of on his own, kind of rogue, if you will. So it was a bit of a challenge to get him to sign and so on and so forth. And then, of course, him being out of state was also another challenge. But I'll let Lucian handle this particular deal and give you all the details on it.
Well, again, the student found this deal, utilizing the REFAX program. and also following up on the lead, you know, reaching out to the siblings and starting to work the progress from there. As you can see, the house, yes, the brother was living in there under those conditions. He had a girlfriend. Once the brother passed away, the girlfriend kept on living in there. And unfortunately, like within 30 days of him passing, she also passed. So that started the motion of, okay, the big brother who lived in New Jersey, what do I do? And this is where our student came in, listen to what they wanted and offer solutions. Now, the home was in pre-foreclosure, okay, without equity, okay? But the condition of the property, total renovations, it required. There were also, the property was not as bad as Harry's with the overgrown bush and the house filled up, but the city had issued violations for overgrown weeds. The front yard, there was almost about a foot. The lawn had grown to almost a foot. The trees were falling down all over the property. The garage, you see, that looks very nice now. But our student basically contracted with local movers and cleaned up the outside. Now, this was out even having the home under contract. He was also doing this, but he had established a relationship that led him to believe and led us to believe that this deal is going to go through. And when the brother, the executor of the estate, saw what we were doing and how we were going about to get the lien violations taken care of, etc., he was all in.
Well, he did have an agreement that was signed by the homeowner to make those adjustments and changes to the property.
Yeah. In the meantime, the neighbors kept calling the police because whenever the student went there, they thought it was someone trying to break in, you know, so that was a challenge in all by itself. But we worked with the bank. We went back and forth with the bank. They sent their appraisals out. And of course, they wanted top dollar for the property, even the condition it's in. And it was back and forth negotiations. And eventually, I believe it was, 160? Again, I don't have the numbers. But I think the bank came back and says, we will accept nothing less than 160 for the home. And that was the final offer. Now, we started at 120. And back and forth negotiations, we counted basically the appraisal value of the home. We did a report, what we call, we have a contractor called Gaia. They'd come in and do a home inspection and give you an exact valuation of the condition of the house and what the repairs will be. So when we counted the bank offer, we also presented that contractor report that shows the condition of the house and all the repairs that it's needed. And that helped the bank to come down from the original offer. They wanted 250. So we came from 250 to 160, and we closed the deal at the 160.
You want to talk a little bit about the city violations and the challenges that we had with that?
The city of Lakewood, their code enforcement drives around neighborhoods looking for violations. They have nothing else to do up there.
They were on it, let me tell you.
It's sort of crazy that they will issue a warning letter and at the same time issue a violation, but it's not recorded in the court system. It's on the code enforcement side. So there was some confusion in trying to clear this up. Was it a lien against the property? Was it just a violation notice that the city gave you time to clear? And that was difficult too, but again, having the knowledge and having us as the mentors and what we teach the student, they were able to work through all of these challenges and get the city to write off that there were no violations. The inspector came by, took pictures, etc., and that cleared up. So basically, we found, once we had the home closed, we found a buyer. We were going to basically wholesale the property. And we had a number of buyers came up, and we settled on one. And then for whatever reason, he basically backed out.
They backed out because of at the last minute, when they were supposed to clear up the violations, they came back in with another set of violations.
Yeah. And yeah, so he thought there were more violations on the property. So he backed out, and we basically had to go with another buyer. But in the meantime, we had to get the city to also go into their system and clear these non-existent violations out, you know.
I'm going to kind of just add to a couple little tidbits of this deal. So, you know, we had an approval letter. We have to close on time. So when you do a short sale, they say, hey, we'll sell it at this price, but you must close by this day so they could get their money. Luckily, you know, we're using our own money. I knew there was more than enough money in the deal. So we just closed on it. The first person, they're right, backed out. We actually had a second person. They were ready to close, and I guess they didn't watch our negotiation seminar last week because they tried to negotiate after putting the money down and try, hey, look, there's more problems than I thought. Can we do better? And my answer was, no, we're good. And he goes, what do you mean you're good? I'm like, yeah, we're just not going to take your offer on that end of it. And, you know, if you're going to try to negotiate with me after you told me you agreed on a price, and the negotiation technique he was kind of using was nibbling. So nibbling to try to get some more money on it. And I said, yeah, I'm good. And so we didn't take his offer, and we actually got more money from our third person. So it all worked out for us. So sometimes you got to be a little bit careful if you're pushing, especially if you push our side. You're going to deal with myself or Taryn or Harry or Denise and Lucian. They are all expert negotiators. So watch out, guys. So I just wanted to add that portion in.
Yeah, the profit margin, I believe it was
79. It sold.
It was
79.
Anish, can you help us with this?
Yeah. Yeah, so the profit was about a little over 70,000 because we had closing cost of money. So the student made about 35,000 bucks. And again, we did nothing to the house. That's another wholesale deal. We're not afraid of rehabbing. You know, what the mentors all will tell you, actually, Denise and Lucian actually love rehabbing. Harry and Victoria actually hate rehabbing. And I think Karen is indifferent, and I'm indifferent. I just like making money. So I'm, you know, whatever maximizes on that end of it. So we're not afraid of rehabbing either. So I don't want everyone to think like, all they overdo is this. No, we were, you know, I've rehabbed houses with Denise and Lucian. I actually did one rehab with Harry and Victoria. It's just that Harry and Victoria are just used to, you know, big numbers. And to this day, Victoria still makes me laugh. You know, Anish, it's so hard to get out of bed if we don't make over $50,000. It's really hard to get out of bed. I'm like, wow.
The other thing too is that it makes sense to wholesale if you don't have to do anything to it and you're going to make good money. It makes sense to wholesale it. But if you can see where you can add value by renovating it and make more money, then it might make sense to do that.
And this is something that we actually share with the students, and we go through this process. It's not like, okay, we are going to wholesale it or we are going to basically renovate it. It's part of the knowledge that we pass on to students. Okay, here is the home. What do you think is next? What is the best approach? Yes, no, etc.
Exit strategy.
That's exactly why we rehabbed that particular property, because of the wholesale numbers, we would have made $5,000.
Right.
We ended up rehabbing it, and even with the delays and the extra costs and everything, we made over $70,000 profit. So it's all about where the numbers lie best, and then we get to make our decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That-
so that's, I was just gonna ask you, Denise, do you remember what the after repair value, again, we bought it for 160, we sold it for 253, just to keep you guys, let you know, do you remember what the after repair value was?
I think it was
Mary Jane?
350.
It started low at 370, and I believe went up to the high as 420.
I can't remember. I believe it was somewhere 325.
Yeah, so again, like, we always kind of laugh because I'm always the same way, like, I don't think it was this much, I'm not sure it's that much, so like, but I always remember writing the checks, and I'm like Denise, we're both number freaks, so we're like, okay, how about this, that's what it costs. So this will be our last deal, and then we'll open it up for questions too also. So this is in Pompano Beach, and it's a, how many, what's it, a 3-2? No, it's a 2-1, Harry?
It's a 2-1, and it has an open permit for a third bed, second bath from about 30 years ago, in that little section right there, that frame section, Florida room, and needs to be addressed. But all the houses in the area are 2-1s.
How many square feet? Do you remember?
Half is frame, half is cinder block. The property appraiser says 921, but actual is just over 1,000 square feet.
Okay, so 2-1, half frame, right? Half concrete,
Skylights
built-in
included,
skylight, yeah, extra.
free skylights, 20 of them.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that's one of the bathrooms.
Was he living in this? Was someone living in this?
Yeah, he was. And a dog. I felt bad for the dog.
Oh.
That's the hole over the kitchen. Yeah, that's the other half of the kitchen. That's the hallway to 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, which were non-accessible. I ended up getting in. That's one of those bedrooms, climbing over everything. That's obviously the ceiling of the same bedroom. Like I said, there's a lot of skylights in there. That's the other bedroom, the second bed.
For whatever reason, my internet.
There.
So, yep, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. You're good.
Like,
We can still
so
see.
I think,
You just can't move it forward. There you go. Oh yeah, there's the bathroom, which he apparently wasn't using. He's apparently not using any of the bathrooms. Same with the hoarder's house, but don't ask. Those are questions you don't really want to know the answers to. Yes, there is a sprinkler system. I made sure I took a picture of that to show that, oh yeah, the piping may still be there, and it might just have a sprinkler system working. Maybe.
okay, so for whatever reason, it's freezing on my side, so I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with my internet here. I swear I paid for it, but let's kind of just, go, talk about the house. So 900 and something square feet.
900 square feet, 2-1 with possibly an illegal third bed, second bath.
Mhm.
Hoarder's house, it was a lot worse than that. He did clear out and move. The city has an unsafe structure tag on it, and that's what made the student pay attention to it, because there is no mortgage, so therefore it wouldn't show up on the REFAX system.
Mhm.
And the student knew to knock on the door and maybe solve this guy's problems. Initially, I thought it had about 600,000 in liens just for grass and driveway that wasn't there, and fascia board. Didn't even mention the roof, which was kind of weird. And that was from about 6 years ago. Further investigations found out that, we were slightly off, and it's $3.83 million in liens.
Wait. Did you, I think my audio went out. How much in liens?
3.83 million.
3.83 million
Yeah, I love those.
dollars for 9. What's that per square foot?
Good question. Good
For
question.
$300,000.
Couple hundred thousand a square foot.
So how many people, right? We put it in the chat. You did the research and you found out, you called up the city and they told you there's $3.8 million in liens. How many people are still in on this deal? Right? Come on, let's be honest. Besides Harry. I know Harry's obviously in the deal.
If you find any and you're afraid, bring them to me, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So
Just bring them to me.
all these people are like, yeah, I am. Man, you guys are a bunch of experienced investors, because I would have been like, yeah, I would have hung up probably. Like, yeah, I'm good.
Eldon, I like Eldon. Yeah, good.
Yeah, Eldon's like, well, he's a student. He knows better. So
Yeah.
he knows that we can negotiate it. So regular deal, right? Was there a mortgage on the house?
No mortgage, free and clear.
Okay. Were you worried about it being in the city was going to want to bulldoze it down?
That hearing's coming up on the 30th. Yeah.
So let's talk about, what do you think he negotiated it down to? Of course, the liens have been negotiated, right? We're not going to buy it and pray to God that we can negotiate 3.8. What do you think? 3.8 million to what?
Yeah, the city's giving us a stipulation letter, so
yeah,
we can pay that off when we fix the violations.
Yeah. So how much is that letter? Not the letter itself. How much is stated on the letter?
10 cents for the letter.
10 cents. What year are you in, Harry?
700,000. Okay, well, first I was impressed. Now Eldon, we're gonna have to talk.
700,000. No, if we could only negotiate it down to 700,000, I'd say no. What I'm going to cheat this time and ask you, what is the after repair value on the house? Since they're still trying to figure this out. What did we say roughly?
2 ones on just one house to the east, one house to the west, 375 to 395, which is unheard of. 2 years ago, we would have lost our bet if we thought we can get 375, 395 for a 2-bed, 1-bath house in that area. But that's our ARV. Right.
So obviously, Eldon, like 700,000, you can't take it with it, right? If it's going to be that number. So we got a couple here. I got a 10 to 20,000. I got a 50,000. I got a 25,000. 5 to 10,000. And Charlene gave me 1,000.
Carly, the comps are 375 to 395.
Okay, go for it. How much did you get the lien down for?
They gave us a stipulation letter. If we comply with all their violations in a 6-month period, they'll take $2,900.
$2,900 from 3.83.
I think that's another record, guys.
Yeah. 2,000. Yeah, I was laughing too when he told me.
That
like,
is phenomenal. Oh my goodness.
The hell out of me too. Sorry.
Carrie.
The point is, when even though we're building relationships with homeowners, we need to also build relationships with the cities, the code officers, the heads of the building departments. And over years, when they see what you do, that your word is gold, they will bend over backwards and do things like this.
Yeah, when Harry told me that, I was so mad that it was over 2,500. I was like, I'm not paying more than 2,500. That $400 is coming out of you.
I'll pay the other 400 because you're not gonna. You're gonna be really.
Did you not learn anything in that negotiation seminar? How dare you?
The other numbers are insane as well.
Was it challenging, Harry, working with the city on this negotiating?
This one, now, because I've worked with them so many times in the past and have solved so many of their problems that they were like, oh, we'll do this. Just send us a letter on how long it's going to take and we'll put this in front of the Unsafe Structures Board and delay this and delay that. And And I said, well, can I get these under 10,000? He goes, way under 10. I'm like,
Wow. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I think
this is also
like-
the same city that I negotiated 7 million down to 15,000. So
yeah. So I mean, what you guys don't know if you haven't met Harry in person, he's a big guy. So are you sure he didn't show up at someone code enforcement's house and say, you know, take my offer, I know where you live, kind of stuff?
forget about it.
I don't get those kind of discounts. That's why I'm laughing. So you must have some special charm, of course.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, Don, he showed up with a bat.
No, if
We do not promote it.
when I talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little-
Yeah, we do not we do not promote any kind of violence at our organization, so, or threatening matter. So I have to give my own
Get a
disclaimer.
lot more with honey than you do with vinegar. Trust me.
So how much are we buying? How much are we in the house for, and
Ooh,
we're selling it for?
this one's a little difficult. Now, the after repair value is 375, 395. We're buying the house for $42,500.
And then the $3,000, the $2,900 that we're going to pay in closing costs. So really,
We're gonna have to pass that off to the buyer. But then pay.
now we're talking. I'm fine with that. Now you're back in. So we'll be, for easy numbers, we'll be less than 50,000 easily. And we have it pretty much, what's it sold for?
That we're still waiting to accept an offer, but 200,000 is solid right now. We're trying to get, someone wanted us to wait and come back, but 200 is definitely going to take it with that letter.
Yeah. So we already have we'll be able to close at 200. I know what Harry's doing. He's saying we're going to wait him out, see if we could squeeze an extra $5,000 or $10,000 or more. I know you. 20.
Why not?
Be a nice thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Only
So
hurts to hear the answer after you ask. But don't hurt.
Yeah, I just hope that whoever, I mean, I know who said the 200 who are working on, I'm hoping they're not on this webinar. We're squeezing you. If you are, we're just squeezing you for another 20 grand. So we got bills to pay. It's the summer's coming up. So we need that extra spending money. So let's just use the 200 number with buying and selling costs, we're looking at about 140,000 in profit.
152.
Give or take, right? So
That point,
so let's see.
matter.
It doesn't matter, right? So we highlighted 4 deals, right? So we started out with that little one that was only 19,000. Boo! No, are you kidding me? That's fantastic, right? How many of you guys will be happy in your first deal or any deal you made $19,000 without putting up any of your own money and you did nothing to the house? Pretty good. The second one was, let's see, Harry, what was the one? Your first one. The other one was what? 100,000. Yeah, 300 to 400.
17 grand.
Yeah, so we're looking at close to 90 plus on that one.
And
We're looking
this,
at,
what,
I thought you meant my first deal when I was a student.
no. Sorry, the first one that we highlighted on your side. My bad. So that was like 9,000 plus. Denise and Lucian, their second deal that they presented was it was a little over 70,000, right around there. But now we're looking at 140,000. Guys, Lucian, sorry.
if I may add, starting off with the 19,000, the student may have put in maybe 20 hours of actual work time. So think about it. 20 hours.
Yeah, if you really think about what your per hour is, right? If you're at your job, we've all been there on this call, and we know what that's like, and you have a good salary of, I don't know, it's I don't know, 100, let's say you make 6 figures, right? What is your per hour on that? It's $50 an hour basically. So if you kind of work the math backwards on that first sale for 20 hours she worked, and her half was 10 grand with no risk in learning. So these are different things that are out there, that, and again, these are just the most recent deals we closed on. I wish, it's kind of funny. I wish it was a little $3,000 deal or something too. We do get those too. I don't always want to just show the big numbers. What I'm going to kind of do is, I know there's some Q&A questions, so I'm going to kind of run through these. So pretty quick. Amy's asking, homeowners in foreclosure are unwilling to make contact with their lender, and I've ended up having to purchase from the foreclosure auctions. Suggestions to help with that hurdle. So I'm assuming to get them to buy from you or buy from them and do the short sale, Amy, because we're not actually buying at the auction because we don't want to compete with other people that push the value is number one. And we actually want to walk the properties. So we want to know what the conditions are. So again, what you've heard all the mentors talk about to make it a win-win, right? You heard these guys talk about, saving their credit. Some of them did get cash too. So question number, let's see, Crystal's asking, please explain the one more week she had. Was that the week till it went to auction? I know that was probably that was on Uma's deal. Do you guys remember what, when you said one more week? Denise Lucian?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
She said, explain the one more week she had. Was that the week till it went to auction?
We had to extend the closing one more week because we did not have the payoff from the lender based on the date that we had set original closing. And then actually we did close 1 week prior to the foreclosure sale date.
Got it. And now I'm going to ask this one. This is one for you too, Denise. How'd you get started as an investor? Do you have to be a realtor? I was a bit late. Is it a good time to invest with the market as it is?
We absolutely do not have to be a realtor to get started in this business. Actually, the business of being a realtor is very different from being an investor.
Yep. Wayne's asking, Harry, being a short sale, how much did you promise the heirs? You can just use that in general.
In our scenario?
No,
either one of you guys, like any short sale, let's just say
any
general.
short sale, it really depends. The A to B transaction needs to be closed first because the heirs are not allowed to make any money. So they can become a partner of ours on the B2C transaction once we're closed the first transaction. That's very important. And I try not to promise them anything because it's all about the numbers and we're so far from that. So I'm open with them. I say, I will work on trying to get you the most money possible. Sometimes 5, sometimes 10 or more. I don't want to put a higher number on it because that's the only number they're going to remember 6 months down the road. So, some will say, well, I can get you 20,000 and you're afraid you may lose the deal to somebody else. I say, hey, if I can get you 20 grand, if I can get you 30 grand, I'll get it for you. But right now it's unknown because it's up to the banks and what number they'll give us the house at, how much equity I can create. And that being open and honest with them will be more than sufficient for them to go. Actually, I have one right now, which it turns out they want to do a short sale. I'll be very fast in this. They want to do a short sale, but the sale date's next week. I know a buyer who will pay the bank off in full, give me 15 grand, give the homeowner 20 grand, and they'll still have equity in the deal. So I can get in and out quickly. And I can promise the homeowner that because we're not in a short sale situation. So each situation is different. Each one has its own rules and regulations and negotiations. And that's one of the things that Victoria and I, and certainly Denise and Lucian, have learned a lot from being part of this network, part of BPM, part of everything that we've done over the years. We've learned a lot of these kinds of flexibilities. There's no one rule of thumb answer for these, but you're in the right place to get the real answers.
And Harry, you're absolutely correct on that, Harry, because every deal is different, and you have to work them all separately, and to get the homeowner what they're looking for, to get the lender what they're looking for, and like you said, to be a win-win-win-win all the way around the board for everyone who's involved in the process.
Absolutely. And I got a couple more questions. I'm going to make it more like a rapid fire. So just because of the time. So Amy's asking, how were you able to work directly with the lender? The brother gave you a power of attorney. That was your deal,
Yeah.
I think. There you go. Yes. Really easy. Harry, can you work the violations when you have a contract with the seller before getting a buyer?
Absolutely.
There you
I
go.
don't
See, look at that.
negotiate it before I have a contract, though. Got to have control, get the contract, then you can put your energy and effort in. And yes, that's very important because the buyer is going to want to know all about it. So you need to know all about it.
Yeah. And the last question also is, when you're trying to purchase directly from the homeowner, how do you compete with Open Door or I know iBuyers? And I'll make it real easy. Open Door will never buy any of those houses ever, number one. Number two is they'll give you some crazy inflated number. And what they'll do is they'll discount it like dramatically as you're going through the process. And you also have to pick up the closing costs. And a lot of times the net is way less than what we would offer. And it's just easier working with local investors. So we're not worried. It's probably the fastest way I could say that. So that's something totally different from anybody else out there. Yeah, go ahead, Tori. I'm going to put a quick poll up there while Harry says something about because I'm always curious, what's the biggest fear in investing for you guys? Because I did see a bunch of newbies. Go ahead, Harry.
About 3 months ago, I was in the back seat of a car driving somewhere, and I started getting all of these things in Google popping up. Oh, sell your house, sell your house. I'm like, okay, why don't I start putting my properties on these, inquire about what they're willing to pay. 6 of them, Open Door and a whole bunch of others. They all came back and lowballed me the numbers. It wasn't even worth the time. As a matter of fact, they started calling after that. I just had to go spam, because it's a waste of time. Zillow overpaid, and because they believe their algorithm works so well, and we knew it was not accurate, and Zillow lost hundreds of millions of dollars making a mistake.
And they're no longer in the iBuying business either, right? They came in as the big bad, gorilla in the room attitude, and then they wound up leaving. So and that's using technology, unlimited amount of money is what I'll say when it comes about cash on hand to buy properties, and they did not, fare very well and lost a lot of money.
About Zillow that I loved, they ended up giving us great comps to go against. Because sales of the price of those homes were just outrageous, outlandish.
I just saw one now, like one of the ones we saw. They only valued it at 106,000. That last one, the one we got for 42 and selling for 200. They only valued that one at 106. Oh my God, they're so far wrong on everything. It's
Yeah, and like that's like, I mean, everyone's technology, we're using it. We're using a lot of different things out there. I get a lot of question about the iBuyers, and that's what they're called. Like Open Door and Zillow, and there's OfferPad. There's a few out there. What they do is totally different. We also sell to hedge funds too. So one of the things that we haven't really talked about is that we have a 10,000 plus cash buyers list. If you guys are having trouble to, sell your properties, guess what? Maybe I'll buy it. You could assign it to me. You need transactional funding for your deal. I don't mind. Oh, by the way, you think I'm afraid of liens? I'm okay with liens. So, we're problem solvers, right? So what I really wanted to show you was 4 deals that has issues, right? And that's why I wonder how many investors probably missed it. Like, that looked at that house and they walked away from it because it was too messy, or they didn't really even know it was for sale, or they weren't listening to the homeowner, what they needed. And, and what made me laugh was Harry kind of said, like, being a real estate investor is really real estate therapy. You're exactly right on that portion. So, the idea of like, hey, I'm just gonna buy your house fast, blah, blah, blah. And, it's a different kind of game. And, Harry, Denise, Lucian, what you're seeing is like, yeah, you don't have to do 100 deals a year at $2,000 or $3,000, right? You could do 5 to 10 deals a year and live a pretty comfortable life on that portion. I'm kind of laughing on the poll. Everyone is like, it's like almost even on everything. Where like some of you guys are worried about the knowledge, the money for the deals, having the right team, too much competition. So one of the coolest things about our RIA in general and our organization, we're committed to knowledge. God knows we have money for deals, and I know for a fact we have the right team. And what we feel like there's an abundance of deals out there. So I don't know about you guys. I don't feel like there's any competition. Are you guys worried about competition? Nothing, right? You sure? All these new investors and, in our market, and Denise, Lucian, you guys worried about any competition?
There are plenty of deals out there. You just have to know what you're doing, be in the space, be willing to move forward, have an attitude of gratefulness, an attitude of being a problem solver, and we come up with creative solutions to help people in their situation to move on with their lives, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
You'll get all of that. You'll get all of that knowing you're part of the right team.
Absolutely.
That's super critical for us.
Absolutely.
I believe competition is great. The reason why, it's going to bring out the best in you. It's that simple. Okay.
I think competition is great when we're selling.
Well, what you don't know into like, so Taryn could be on here tonight, but between all these mentors like Harry, Denise, Lucian, Victoria, Taryn are fantastic at what they do, but there is some inner competition. There's some, if you haven't noticed, there's some smack talking within our organization about, hey, my student did this, or is that just in my head? Is it just me smack talking? All right, these guys are all angels, but yeah, no, we love it.
I think
On
it's
that, and well, what the thing is, like, the foundation is, we're here for everyone's success, and what I could tell you, our mentality as a company is abundance. There's enough room for everyone to make money. What I will warn you newbies out there, this industry is small, especially in our area, and you want to start playing big in our area, which is fantastic. Do the right thing, right? Don't do some unethical things. Everyone's going to know, all the people, and you will be blacklisted very quickly. If you're trying to sell to other investors, or, be transparent, and, I don't know how, like, common business sense on that portion. So we're always trying to make it a win-win. And that's been pretty cool. So I know we only have, the other thing is, Alexa, I think we only have 5 seats left for, I don't know how many seats for the weekend.
Yes, yes, I have 5 seats now. So I do have a winner for today, though. I have to announce. All righty, congratulations, Alberto R. You won the quick start seat for free today. So congratulations, and we will be in touch.
The next millionaire, Alberto.
So the other thing is, like, right, our coaching program, just so you guys know, I'm very, upfront. It does start at over $19,000. We do have financing options, and I understand, listen, if you're going to talk to Harry, these guys, we've all been there where money was tight. I mean, I lost everything back in 2008. What I tell people, if you could do the quick start, guess what? You're going to look at how we evaluate properties. We're using the software. And what you can do is, we've had people do the quick start. They get something under contract, and guess who they sold it to? Me. Guess what? You made some money on it. I don't care. You could assign it, transactional funding. But you don't want to wait on the sidelines. So, what you have to ask yourself, how long has it been, or how long have you wanted to be a real estate investor? And, these guys, what they'll tell you also, like, they also are part of masterminds. I'm part of masterminds. We have our own mentors. All the mentors are constantly educating themselves also. So we're also expanding our businesses well. So not only are they teaching, they're actual investors with their own businesses too. So I think that's important also. Any kind of last words, Denise, Lucian, Harry, you got any little tidbits that, and if you're around on this weekend, you'll see these guys pop in a little bit on some of the workshops too. So,
well, what I would like to leave everyone with is that, and one of the questions that you ask is, do you have to be a real estate agent in order to get into investing? And the answer is no. But what I will say is that you do need an excellent mentor. Hello, BPM. But in the honest answer also is that everyone need coaches, everyone need mentors in order to be successful. The most successful people on the face of the earth here today, they all had mentors. Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golfers out there, has a mentor, he has a coach. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever to grace our planet, had a coach, had a mentor. LeBron James today is being mentored by none other than was the gentleman, Brookshire,
Warren Buffett.
Warren.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone is looking for that extra push, that extra tip that could make them better than what they are today. So I challenge each and every one of you, do you want to get better? Get a mentor, okay? And follow the teachings. You may have to change what you think, a mindset. But if you want to be successful, you have to make the effort and put the effort forth.
And it's also important for you to, be open and transparent. And you have to have an open mind in order to move forward and be able to take in all this information and follow the teachings of the mentor, because they've been there, they've done that. And that's why they're successful and passing on their tips of what made them successful.
When Victoria and I started, we knew that real estate was an opportunity to create an additional stream of income. And we jumped in with both feet, but we were busy like everyone else is. It's like we weren't afraid to do the work. It was like, look, make it easier for us. Hold our hands, tell us exactly what to do, and we'll do it over and over and over again, as long as it's not illegal or immoral. And that's how we were taken care of. And Bill Leon, may rest in peace, he said to us, do the right thing. You never have to look over your shoulder. And because of these teachings and how we've learned, we were open, kept an open mind, did a lot of things. We didn't understand what we were doing or why, but it was part of the process, and that helped us learn a lot very quickly. It's like we spent $50,000 on a previous nationwide program. And they taught us a lot of things, a little bit about a lot of things, and it wasn't enough to do anything with. Fortunately, what they did say was go to your local REIAs. We went to all of them. I'm sure there's a few we missed, but they only had 2 or 3 people in them. And this was the only place, the only network that we found was open and willing to really hold our hand and help us succeed. Even when you try to break that handshake or hand holding, I was afraid to leave. He's like, no, go make all the money yourself now. Go ahead.
Yeah, terrible. That was a terrible conversation that I had with you. It cost me a lot of money, but on the 50-50, of course. And now I know why you want to be a mentor, because now you get to tell people what to do. That's the only thing I got out of what you just said.
Victoria doesn't listen to me. So.
Yeah, so I mean, again, if you guys are interested, you go to our website and just book a discovery call, and you guys are going to have 1,000 more questions, like one-on-one you could grill me, ask me, I've had all like crazy questions asked of, what about this? What about that? We're not high pressure. One of the things that we do that's very different is we only take a few students per month because we give you unlimited access. What these guys haven't really told you about the deals, and we're talking about the other side, is these guys put a ton of hours in on the backside. And they also have their own businesses. So we don't have the bandwidth to take 100 people. Like we try to take 5 to 6 people a month, and that's it. And that's, we really think of it as a family. And I've learned a lot of things from these other mentors myself. So trust me, I don't know all the answers. And the last thing, what you guys don't actually know, Denise and Lucian and Harry, next month, because I'm trying to always think of different workshop ideas or webinar ideas. Again, you could always email me at anish@bpmria.com if you have any ideas for workshops. So I'm going to do a panel. We came up with it. It's going to be probably sometime in June. I think it's like June 14th. We have the date on it. And it's we haven't come up with a catchy name yet, but it's going to be basically disasters or a bunch of flops.
Deals to disasters.
What's it going to be?
Deals to disasters, but it better.
Yeah.
They'll
Deals
hear
to
it.
disasters. So we're going to come up with some clever name. And the panel, I have a couple of people in mind that I'm just waiting for them to agree. We're just going to tell you all the deals that we thought were deals, and they became disasters, meaning we either lost money, which we did, right, when we started, or you had to take back the property. And it's just going to be, a full hour and a half of all the things we did wrong. And these are unbelievably successful investors. So it's going to be something kind of, basically to show you, that we all started somewhere, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, my first deal went perfect. I know Denise and Lucian, the deals that they lost, definitely had some conversations with what Harry lost, but our whole focus is there are going to be disasters of deals that we didn't make any money on. Either we lost them or unfortunately lost money on them back then. I'm going to rephrase that. So these will be deals before probably 2010 or 2009 too. So I'm always, again, open up to new ideas for webinars. We are also talking about doing with the mentors, really just I know Taryn sometimes does it with our students, a talk with Taryn. So we're talking about just having an opening, kind of just a chat, like no true agenda. Ask the mentors, I guess pretty much whatever you want. Maybe I'll have to set some boundaries on it. What I'm really committed to this year is to really make this fun. I want to make money. I want to help people, but I really want to have fun. And so we're kind of changing the vibe of the RIA a little bit to not be so serious. I mean, we are doing serious things, but to also make it fun too. So we're open to new ideas. The other things that these guys don't even know, like I'm kind of announcing it. I'm working with one of our senior students, Sean. We're gonna have a secondary YouTube channel coming up, and it's just gonna be a bunch of laughs. Actually, it's gonna be, we're gonna see what happens on it. Hopefully, I'll be as funny as Sean. He might make me do some stupid things, but I don't know, I do enough stupid things anyway. So those are some of the things that are coming up. And so hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys this weekend. I know you guys saw me Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, kind of stuff. You're gonna know I like long walks on the beach.
Oh, God.
On that stuff. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. I hope you guys get to join us on that portion. Make sure you give us a 5-star Google review to let everyone else know. And again, after the weekend, we have some upcoming workshops coming up too. So thank you as usual for joining us. Denise and Lucian, thanks from all the way from North Carolina, coming out and spending some time, on your vacation there too. So
Thank you.
Harry,
Thank you all. Seriously, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to reiterate what Alexa said. It really makes these webinars are easier for me when you guys participate, and I really appreciate it with the questions and everything else that you guys bring, because it really helps us out. I mean, Harry, myself, Denise, and Lucian, we could chat all day, and we don't even need a webinar. We'll talk for hours. So thanks for keeping us honest and keeping it the right way too. So all right, guys, take care. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.